And hold on. Let me fix this. Good evening, gamers. How is everybody doing? Hope you are having a very great Friday night. We have lots of awesome stuff to talk about today because this is Friday night and this is Xbox Ultimate Podcast. And as you can see by the thumbnail, we're gonna have some Monster Hunter discussions. That game is setting the charts on fire right now, breaking some records and everything, as was somewhat expected, but I think even a little bit beyond expectations in some ways. But yeah, we're going to talk about that, talk about some other things too. We got Monolith to talk about again. We talked about that yesterday with Pong Soul and I. Speaking of Pong, he's on his way. He'll be here shortly. As well as we got GDC coming up for Xbox. They said they're going to have some things there and some more stuff too as well. Fable, unfortunately, delayed. We'll see how everybody feels about that. But thank you all for being here. Shout out to the chat. You guys rock, and hope you enjoy this episode. If you are an audio listener, hey, check us out on audio on Spotify or any of the audio platforms. And if you like us, hey, leave a review. It greatly helps people find us that way. YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff greatly helps us grow as well. Did that at the beginning of the show. I always forget to. So instead of the end, hey, we are joined currently by the man who is a mile high, close to space as he can get. What's up,
Yeah.
Jasper? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The only thing I've really done this week for game wise is play VR boxing, so that's about it. Other than that, I really haven't played shit.
Are you having fun with it?
Yeah, I'm kind of using it as like a substitute workout.
Yeah.
So I wear a weight vest and do it, so it's a little extra too.
Oh, nice. Have you tried like Beat Saber and shit like that yet?
Yeah, I got that. I've played that for like a couple weeks. I like modded it so you can like put any song you want into it.
Okay. What's now you're famous on our episodes for saying you don't like music.
So yeah, I kind of just
what is
through
a Jasper song that you modded it? It seems like maybe you do if you went to the trouble of modding Beat Saber to put your own selections in there. What does a Jasper selection sound like?
What I do is like they have a like a recently added category, so I'll just go through and like pick random songs that I've heard of or like something that sounds interesting, and then I'll try that out.
Yeah,
so
like the songs you heard in Fortnite, shit like that, or TikTok.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you guys. Man, just haven't done as much gaming as I would like, but been playing a decent amount of Avowed. But yeah, it's trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this Monster Hunter thing. I didn't have a plan on picking it up. We'll see how it goes between now and the end of the show. But yeah, there's already so much on my backlog list. It's like I need to start finishing some stuff I started, like Shattered Space. I need to finish that at some point. But yeah, glad to be here with you guys.
Yeah, right on, Fuzz. Appreciate you being here as well. And we are now officially joined by the one and only Pong Soul. What's up, Pong?
Not that much. Hope you guys can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, because I had to flip everything back over because I was playing Monster Hunter. So, and somebody else decided that was a good weekend to babysit a dog without, not my decision. So now we got an extra dog running around. So
oh boy, that's fun.
Crazy as fuck. Yeah. She's already done with it, so she's pestering me. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome. It's a great Friday night to be here. Happy Monster Hunter Day for sure. Jasper, great to see you join us. Great to hear that you've been hardcore gaming and some VR boxing, dude. So congratulations on that, sir. And Fuzzy, great to see you, brother. Can I say, man, it's been Avowed all week, and then now tonight it swapped over to Monster Hunter. I just went through the first mission, killed the frog boss, and that's where I left it at. Went back to base and saved it. And called it right there. But yeah, it's Monster Hunter time, everybody, for about us and a million other freaking people, literally today to start
concurrently.
We're gonna talk about that. That was like mid morning, of course, because the East and Japan and everything else. I mean, hell, the Pal World devs gave their whole studio the day off to go play Monster Hunter. Let's just say Monster Hunter World peaked at 300,000. concurrent. That was their peak all time. Yeah, Monster Hunter might have stepped up a little bit over the years. So great to see Capcom. Capcom don't miss. This is obviously going to mean bigger and better things for Capcom. This means they can go do more, you know, bringing back older IP and also trying new games like Kunitsugami and things like that. So this will just be another feather in their cap, supplying a whole lot of cash to them. So great to see, but we're going to talk about it. So let's get down to business.
You know, something I noticed too playing Monster Hunter, there's a lot of Lost Planet DNA in there, like a little bit, like with, and maybe, you know, I should reverse that. Maybe there was a lot of Monster Hunter DNA in Lost Planet, you know, back in the day.
I think it's Capcom DNA overall.
Yeah.
Like they get formulas together and they share across different IP, and that's why you probably feel that way. And I understand because there's Dragon's Dogma. Obviously, Dragon's Dogma took a lot from Monster Hunter, right? When they even the first one, but even the second one even took even more from Monster Hunter. So
I just wonder with the success of Monster Hunter if they would ever look at potentially like, hey, could we revive Lost Planet and have like the sci-fi more futuristic version of this and kind of model it after Monster Hunter but in a different way, because it, you know, you did a lot of the same stuff and there's more story oriented for sure, but they could turn it into kind of like a monster hunting type experience, because that's, you did kind of the same stuff. You hunted or went after bigger giant enemies and stuff like that as a team. So I was thinking about it as we were talking here.
You know, I'm down.
Yeah,
I love Lost Planet.
So many IPs I want to see come back.
Yep.
Yeah, Capcom's on fire, man. We've all been kind of talking about how they've been one of the publishers that have, in the turmoil of the industry and everything that's been going on the last several years, or everybody says the industry's doomed. It's like Capcom's had their misses for sure, you know. You know, you could say like Exoprimal was an experiment, didn't really work out for them. You know, you could say like
Kunitsugami didn't do the greatest for them either.
Yeah, I don't think they had the biggest expectations for that.
No.
Right? So, you know, it's thinking like depends on the franchise. You know, Resident Evil games have been doing good. Still, they do all these different. The fighting games are kind of back up, stuff like that. But when they release a Monster Hunter, it's been a while since they've released the next big one. You know what I mean? Worlds was one I got into on Xbox One a little bit. I didn't have any friends to play with it back then, so it was kind of more of a lonely experience. But it was quality, and I enjoyed my time with it. It was fun. But then that kind of fell off, right? But then when I started seeing the Monster Hunter Wilds trailers, I could see the quality jump with the animations and stuff like that, and I was just like, okay, they kind of streamline some things that are make it easier for my brain to operate when I'm playing this as well. So yeah, it's just like FOMO went out for me on this after I saw the reviews. What was it, late last week or something? I saw it, or maybe early this week on the FSP. We saw they had like 90s across the board pretty much and stuff.
Have you got to play it
yet? I played a little bit last night, and I played a little bit today. I was trying to play last night in bed with Steam Link, but Steam Link is very hit or miss for me. I did get this on PC because I wanted to experience it in all of its glory after seeing a lot of the
that was my kind of my follow-up question, because I know you all talking about getting on PC, and I've seen a lot of people say there's a lot of PC issues. Have you kind of run into that stuff, or
I haven't yet?
Go ahead. Have you at all, Mav? I had some stuttering in the beginning. I am using Frame Gen, so
I turned that off.
Okay, I'm using that because I'm playing on the OLED, so I want the native 4K, right? So I am using the Frame Gen. I did have some stuttering in the opening sequences, but since that point, my entire battle with the Katabanka or whatever the hell his name is, the frog dude, no issues whatsoever. Like it was smooth as hell. So I didn't look at AMD to see what my frames were averaging, but yeah, no, it looks fantastic. I haven't seen anything major outside of that stuttering that I did get like in the opening animation sequences and that kind of stuff. After that, it's smoothed out, so I'll keep everybody informed. But yeah, there is supposedly a lot of problems. So, but for me, not so far. Yeah,
I haven't. I mean, I haven't put in a whole lot of time into it. But I haven't had any issues other than, like when you're using I played a little bit on PC today I played the most on PC today, but last night it was getting late by the time it finished installing. So I was already getting in bed at that time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and rock it with Steam Link and in bed while we're watching TV and stuff. And Steam Link will tell you the quality of your connection at the time, right? When you launch it, and it said I had fair connection instead of good. So I knew, I was like, fuck, this isn't gonna be as great, because it was looking great and crystal clear, but then sometimes the screen would just freeze, but the game's still running in the background.
Right.
So it kind of ruined some of the intro stuff for me, because I don't know what's happening when that stuff was cutting out. But that was just because of the way I was experiencing it today on PC. I haven't had any issues whatsoever with it. But I'm not using frame gen. I just have it locked at 60, and I
Okay.
have all the graphics bounced up as high as they can possibly go with it being locked at 60 frames.
Do you have ray tracing on too or no?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, no issues so far. It's running for my native resolution.
What
For
do you have?
the
5040?
34, 40, 1440, I think is what it is, right? For the ultra wide.
Yeah.
I didn't go in detail because there's a lot of options in this game. Like, shout out to Capcom for this, like, because there's a lot of options in this. But what I did spend the most time last night when I was playing that way was the character creation.
Yes.
And wow,
pretty damn good.
like I dude, I gotta say, like, for character creators, like this is top of the heap, man. For the amount of options you have across the board, you can make some really good looking characters and stuff on this. And the hair is great. Like, so that's Kate was sitting next to me, so she was helping me make my girl. So this one's not so ugly this time.
You got the female hunter?
Yeah, I got a female. I chose the dual daggers, right? So far.
Ooh,
Gonna
double
roll with,
daggers.
yeah, gonna roll with that and see how it goes. Last time at Monster Hunter Worlds, I used the bug thing. That's like a giant lance thing that you can
the
jump
lance,
in the air and stuff. The more aerial one. That's really fun build. But this time I'm rolling with the dual daggers. So
nice.
Combat super smooth, super fun. I did that part that you're talking about last night, Pong, and I played a little bit more of the story today. I was trying to unlock photo mode before the show, because Kate was like, "Do you want to use a picture of your character for the thumbnail?" And I was like, "Yeah." Then I went and noticed photo mode wasn't unlocked yet, so I guess it unlocks later or something.
It comes very shortly after you get through. Like I had it working right as I beat the monster, but then my time ran out, so I finished the quest. After that, it's been locked again. Once you get out of the main camp the first time, it opens up. So yeah.
Well, I tried using it after I just left the camp again.
And you still can't use it?
No. So I've been to the camp twice so far. I still can't use it yet.
Interesting.
But I think it's because it's still not past the whole intro area to where I'm kind of going back and forth with this like opening story stuff, And so I just wasn't able to. But Kate made a fucking fire thumbnail for this. Like,
nice.
Been using some other characters and stuff. So good job, babe. Absolutely love it. But yeah, man. I guess Pong, since you're the only one that's had even a chance to experience any bit of it that's here today, right now, like, what's your just very early initial impressions?
I mean, the same as I had with the beta when I tried the beta, right? I think this is, and again, this is coming from somebody who's played a lot of Monster Hunter in their life, but never like professional Monster Hunter. Like, I don't do what some people do. Like, I'm not that guy, right? I like Mav. I've done a lot of solo, right? And a lot of my stuff was early in Monster Hunter, right? So I played a lot actually I played a lot on PlayStation, but on PSP and Vita, like, I loved Monster Hunter on both of those. So I was doing a lot of solo stuff. Didn't get into the whole Monster Hunter world. I wanted to. I jumped into it, but again, I wasn't in this community. I didn't have a group of friends that played it. So wound up just doing solo stuff in Monster Hunter World too, which is fine. But again, I don't put the time into it. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm going to spend 1,000 hours in this game. I'm not. But what I found from this game so far is that, again, Capcom knows what they're doing. Every time they put out a new iteration of this game, they've figured out how to take everything that they've learned in the past and put it into the new ones. Even the kind of the side games that they've stopped off at, and tried some new stuff. Like they take what works out of there and put it in this. And this is kind of the culmination. And this is from also listening to all the reviewers and the real Monster Hunter fans out there too, who are playing this that way. They've all said that they can see Capcom basically put everything they've ever wanted to do in a Monster Hunter game into Wilds. And they did make it more accessible for people. And that's what I'm going to say as somebody who is not a professional Monster Hunter, right? As somebody who is a casual Monster Hunter, as somebody who is not proficient in all the freaking weapons. Just picking this game up so far, and again, even in the beta, fighting more monsters than just the first monster, the frog monster. I felt more at ease, more comfortable with the controls. And like you said, Mav, it's streamlined a lot of stuff. So chasing down the monsters, you can kind of put, I forget what the birds are called, excuse me. I totally forget what they're called. But anyways, I just was playing. But you could put those in auto mode and they run towards the monster and you find them for just little things like that. And I think I saw Decado. Decado's been playing Decado's a Monster Hunter. And Decado was I think he did say that he was a little worried about some of the reviews talking about how easy they made this game. It made it, he's now gotten into it and he said it's fine. He said that the difficulty is just fine. And if you want to make it more difficult for yourself because you are a professional Monster Hunter, you can limit yourself on items that you're going to use. And it will, you can try and create your own difficulty, but they're obviously going to add things. That's the best part about Monster Hunter, is that Capcom continues to support these games and they're going to add DLC. They're going to do all that kind of stuff. But just initial up front, it's running great. Like I said, I did see some stuttering, which I didn't get in the beta at all. I had done my test, the stress test that they had offered for my PC, and I was scored obviously really, really high. But I haven't seen the optimization issues that some people have seen. Now, again, I'm really early, little over an hour and a half in here. So I will let you guys know. But right now, looks great, Mav. Running smooth. I'm running uncapped. That's why I'm using frame gen, because I'm on the OLED, which is 120. So I'm running uncapped because I want that extra speed for battling.
Yeah. I've never yeah, I hear you. For me, like, I don't know what it is, but like after 60 frames, I don't notice anything,
It's feel after that point for the most part. It is feel. Like it's this, and it's weird because I know what you're saying, because like you think you're tricking yourself, but I've switched it back and forth on COD.
Yeah.
Between 60 and 120. There's a fucking difference. Like there is. Like it might be so slight, right? We're talking about reaction time, but it's there and I notice it. So whatever. And again, it doesn't take away with the frame gen. I haven't seen any problems with the frame gen so far. So again, if it becomes a bothersome thing where I'm noticing weird shit, then yeah, I'm going to turn it off. But right now, it keeps the resolution high. I'm playing on balanced. I've got everything turned up, got ray tracing cranked to the highest as well. And I know I'm in the hundreds for frames. So it's fantastic to me.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any issues.
It's running like butter, man. This is like, it can be an annoying thing sometimes when you play games. Sometimes like some games just take forever to load and get into it, or like even like to get out of it. You know what I mean? But it's like this game is like, hey, you launch it, it just bing bang boom, ready to go. You're in the game, and it's just running like butter smooth, and everything's really fast and fluid within it.
Yeah, and awesome. Bringing my character over from the beta worked flawlessly too.
Did it?
So, nice. Yeah, I know some people were having problems. If you still had that problem, if you didn't read, they said most likely you launched in offline mode, and so that's what was blocking it. So you just have to restart it and launch it online, and it should pick up your character stuff. But mine, I launched right away, went to the character selection screen. I thought there was gonna be a button right away saying it, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah. I know I'm online. But I clicked on the character to start the character creation, and sure enough, there was another button, beta load. And so I loaded right in. Everything was there for both my character and my Calico. So it was awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Weird thing, like I noticed on Steam, like it has a mixed review right now on Steam.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Usually that's for some reason or whatever. Does anybody know what
I think it's just the PC issues. People are kind of protesting that, with bad reviews or whatever.
I know. Oh no, it's Alex dropped a video today saying it was a disaster. Is dropping one tomorrow, so yeah, I'm sure he's doing his review.
Is it
Yeah, a
maybe
lot of people are having
NVIDIA stuff or?
I didn't go deep into it, so
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'll
From
just
what,
fool around with it.
like, I watched a little bit of Digital Foundries today, and they were saying that like it's more like a VRAM issue, I think. So if you have like a small VRAM limit on your graphics card, it can kind of cause a lot of issues.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't noticed anything yet, but like I said, I'm early. You know what I mean? So maybe stuff will start to pop up eventually. But yeah, it's been better for me so far. And yeah,
Question for you
yeah.
guys.
Go ahead,
Like,
Fuzz.
how is it? How is the smoothness of it compared to the way Dragon's Dogma was for you guys? Is it a smoother experience, or is it similar as far as like frame rates and whatnot?
For me, it seems smoother, but it's just maybe my experience. I think like Dragon's Dogma may have, it's a more populated world in some ways, right? Like Monster Hunter Wilds has a ton of monsters just running around free, you know what I mean, in the wilds and stuff. But like, maybe Dragon's Dogma has more going on behind the scenes, right? Um, but yeah, I put in like over 40 hours into Dragon's Dogma.
Mhm.
Again, that ran really well for me. I mentioned the Steam Link also before, like the issue I was having last night. But like, weird thing too, like Steam Link sometimes doesn't work great with certain games, but like it does with Capcom games. So Dragon's Dogma always ran really well that way too, and like ran flawlessly on it. So Monster Hunter Wilds would have too if it wasn't for my internet last night. But overall, yeah, it's just been natively on my PC. It's been super locked at 60. I haven't noticed any drops or anything. But I know a lot of people will want more than 60, you know?
Yeah.
But that's how I kind of prefer to play these games. So what I do is I kind of lock it with VSync at 60, and then I just put the graphics fidelity as high as I possibly can for my display. And that's just my general theme for how I play PC games. And both of them have had no issues for me personally. I can't remember if there was maybe a couple of places where I had some drops in Dragon's Dogma into like the 50s or something like that. But yeah, I think if I was to make an assumption, I would say for me it's running smoother. I remember Dragon's
Yeah,
Dogma
because
had a lot of performance issues at launch for a lot of people, right? So, and I mean these games are gorgeous graphically. I mean, you're talking about some of the better looking games this generation, and it's like it's a Japanese like theme game, but like when you're in the character creator, like the hair, it's like wow, that's really good hair. Like it stood out. Even Kate was looking at it. She's like, wow, yeah, that is really good hair. So like just like details like that. The cut scenes are really cool because like your character feels like it's not a voiceless void of a created character NPC in cutscenes. It's like feels like they're actually part of the story too. Um, so there's a lot of things they did really well with this that I think are pushing the boundaries for great performance and fidelity on games. But I think maybe at launch, it's catching some people maybe with the middle tier, hardware or lower. Maybe it's a little bit too beefy for that. I'm guessing that would be more comparable to like a console experience. But the consoles are tailor optimized specifically for that hardware too. So I'm curious what people
yeah.
that have been playing on like Xbox Series X or PS5 have been experiencing. Has anybody heard anything about that?
Well, I mean, I just heard the stuff
Only on the
like
Pro.
I just heard the stuff like before the game launched, where like people were saying the performance mode is kind of like blurry and looks like a PS2 game because like the anti-aliasing's turned off or whatever. So I don't know. That's kind of the only complaints I've heard about the consoles itself.
Yeah. I mean, what a
Yeah, I
big
think on was it
franchise.
the Pro? I guess the Pisser or whatever the PSSR implementation is another one where it seems to be off a bit.
Mhm.
But outside of that, like I remember as far as Dragon's Dogma 2, my performance on my PC, about the only time it really dropped was when the Griffin attacks, or if you're in the cart doing like the slow travel deal, and you wait for like one of the monsters to attack. Usually when they go to attack, because there's usually a secondary one getting ready to attack that other monster, that's when it would drop below 60 when I had it at with the V-Sync and stuff like that. But just kind of wanted to see, because for the most part, Dragon's Dogma was pretty smooth. This one seems like a better optimized game than, well, less things going on in the background. This probably will be even better as far as compared for me. So
Yeah, I mean, just like Dragon's Dogma 2, there's like a lot of options, for stuff. So you can kind of tailor it to, I think, your own experience and how you want to play the game. I think your rig's pretty good, Fuzz, and Jasper, yours is too. So I don't really think you guys would really have much issue with this. Pong said, you said you're getting like over 100 frames, probably.
Yeah. I'm getting over 100 frames. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
was in the beta too. I was like at 120.
what were you getting on Dragon's Dogma? Do you remember?
Oh boy, Dragon's Dogma. That thing was not optimized at all.
Yeah.
And especially in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
When it launched. That was just like powering through. Can't even tell now.
I mean, I was pretty much at 60,
Yeah, I was constantly hanging in the 60. It would dip like the cities, it would dip and then it would go back up again. I think I was hitting 70 every once in a while, but for the most part, yeah. No.
Yeah, that's what I remember. It's like mostly at 60, and then maybe sometimes it would be in like the 50s or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yep.
nothing like,
it was
oh my
rough.
God.
Yeah, no, it wasn't crazy, but still for our rigs, yeah. No,
Yeah.
like, come on.
Is this the RE engine?
Yes, it is the RE.
Okay.
Correct, sir. Yep. I was gonna say, Steele had put in our DMs that he was watching the wifey play in New Zealand when she went early for this, and he actually said he was pretty impressed. So again, take it for what it is. Like Jasper, I heard that obviously the performance mode is give up a lot of resolution on the console, which is kind of normal for most games, especially something like this, which is heavily detailed, especially the background stuff. So I can imagine that that's probably the case. I've seen some screenshots supposedly, but again, you could never tell for sure because it's Twitter and it's terrible compression anyways. But yeah, you're gonna make some sacrifice. I mean, again, that's why I chose to go PC this time around. Is just because I did not want to have those issues because this game is so detailed. I played the beta and I was like, no way, I'm not giving that up. I want the frames and I want the details in this one because it's a beautiful game. So yeah, I just think that the console's fine. Like you said, you're gonna make your sacrifices. They're optimized. But hopefully Capcom can throw some patches together because they definitely did work on Dragon's Dogma 2. As it went along, it definitely got better. And with this many concurrent players and this kind of game, this is their big one, right? This is their next step up after Worlds, which has already sold over 20 million now, right? Worlds sold over 20 million. Wilds could sell that in a much faster rate, let's say 2-3 years.
Yeah, because Worlds had kind of a second coming. Like it came out and then it was like gone for a few years, then it came back up in popularity.
And they got the DLC and everything was like rolling, and then it just kind of happened that way. So they could take Wilds and have that same kind of success in 2-3 years, and I think they're going to support the hell out of it, just like they do all their games. So I'm imagine we'll get this fixed. I don't think this is going to last too long. So.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games that are pushing the boundaries with stuff, I mean, they're going to sometimes launch with not everything 100% perfect. In a perfect world, we would love to see that. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yes.
But overall, I mean, I look at what I'm experiencing so far, and it's like, hey, I'm digging that. It does suck for people that have issues, though. Anytime you buy something and it's like, oh, damn it, But I can't speak on it because I haven't experienced anything myself.
Right. Yeah.
Shout out to Didas20 who just now hit us up with a $2 super chat. Says salute to all. Salute to you, sir.
Salute to you, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Way
off topic, but real quick before I forget, for any of our PC players out there, if you guys haven't been paying attention, because not everybody's on X like we are, Wario64 all day has been posting. Amazon's got delisted game codes going back up for sale on PC, and they are for Steam. Like it says Windows 7, like it's the old, it's like it's the old ads on Amazon too. It's legit. So I just want to let everybody know because some of these games are probably something that people want. The Last Remnant, if you guys remember that 360 RPG, that was an Xbox exclusive for a minute. Bro, I've been wanting to go back to that for years and it hasn't been available. I think they did a remaster on the PS4, which I never wound up getting. They just put that back up on Amazon for $10. It's still available right now. So
Holy shit!
yeah, I picked that.
I just
yeah. What?
It's just I don't know if I want to say the name of the game that's on Twitter because I don't know how many codes are out there. But fucking Marvel's Ultimate Alliance,
yes,
that's back up for sale.
That's been all day. The double one is gone, but you can buy them single. The only reason why I didn't pick them up is because they're $40 each, and I think that we're gonna get them in backwards compatibility. I think they're probably working on it. I might kick myself in the ass, but I'm gonna stay with because I am not doing $39.99. But yeah, the Last Remnants up there. They got Knights. Up there, I picked up Jet Set Radio as well. Jet Set Radio is back up there for $7.99. That's still available right now too as well. And the last one he just put up for all of you Legacy of Kain fans, the entire collection is up for $20 right now if you want to go grab it on Steam. So I know we're getting the remaster, the remake, whatever you want to call it, but if you want to grab the originals on Steam, got the whole collection for $20. So just want to point that out right now because it's really random that this started to happen today.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I just saw
so dope.
I just saw something posted about Turok is available.
Turok's getting an update for Series X and PlayStation 5, and it's coming. That Turok that
says now available.
Yep. That who did it?
Night Dive. Yeah.
Night Dive. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. So yep. It looks great. Looking great.
Yeah, I got it. And I really liked the original on the 64, so maybe I would check it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff to play, Pong.
There is. There is, brother.
Just added Monster Hunter Wilds to the collection.
Yep.
24-hour peak. 1.3 million people. 900,000 playing right now.
Beat Elden Ring.
That's crazy.
Think about that. Yeah. It's nuts.
What I'm wondering what it would take for Jasper and Fuzzy to their FOMO to end up caving on this. I'm just curious.
I bought the game.
Did you? So you did.
Yeah.
Just as we started.
Oh yeah.
Mission accomplished.
That's what Mab did last night when we started PM with the PM because
I just went through CD keys because it's like $10 cheaper.
Yeah, that's what I told Mav last night. I was on Newegg for $60.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what he did.
I'm looking at Fuzzy. He's like, man, damn it, you know.
I'm on CD keys now, so it's like,
yeah, it's tough.
I'm gonna leave it there for now.
Yeah, strong-willed Fuzzy Belvedere. I mean, there's stuff coming around the corner too. You know, like I haven't finished Avowed yet, and I've been having a blast with that. How far are you in Avowed, Fuzz?
I think I'm about like 20 hours in right now, so I got a good bit of ways to go. It's like after the first and second section, starting into the third. Kind of trying to take my time because I want to try to find as many secrets, and apparently there's some skippable achievements or missable achievements along the way. So I want to try to make sure I get at least a good bit of them. Got a few rare ones now, but I want to try to get through it and get the 1,000 gamer score. Although I know it's going to take me quite a few hours to do so, but. And then there's Shatter Space, which I definitely want to finish because I want to go back to see if they've patched one of the issues I've had on one of my playthroughs. But there's some more stuff I want to try with that as well because I love sci-fi, so it's like I want to get at least Shattered Space finished before Outer Worlds 2 comes out. That's the goal, and Outer Worlds 2, I'm guessing going to be the end of the year, but we might get a surprise where it's in June or something ridiculous. So I just want to be ready just in case.
Right on. And what about you, Jasper? I remember the last time I talked to you, you
Yeah,
had just started it.
yeah, I haven't played any more since then, because I'm on night shift, so I fucking wake up, I have to do shit before stuff closes, and then I go to work, and then I go to bed. So,
It's the life.
yep,
Love it. You're probably gonna get some time this weekend, but maybe that's gonna
yeah,
be in Monster Hunter now. I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
We'll see. I might bounce.
or VR, more VR boxing.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, Psycho said he got 91 hours in Avowed, and he just got into the third biome.
Hmm.
That's pretty
Makes sense.
beefy.
Hmm. Yeah, I saw these people complete it in 33 hours. I mean, I've got 30 hours in the first biome, and I still haven't left. So, like,
Yeah.
I can't, I will never be able to put myself in those people's shoes. Like, I don't understand. I just
Yeah, I don't
33
get
hours
it.
to finish the game. What? There is so much to see in this game. But teach their own. Again, I don't finish games, so whatever. People think I'm crazy.
Yeah, but like
so.
you enjoy the games.
Yeah, I know, but again, people. I
You know what I
understand
mean?
why people think I'm crazy. I just had a conversation today
Yeah.
with somebody on X2 that asked me if I finished Avowed because I was talking about Monster Hunter. I said, "What's finish? Well, this is a strange word you're using. I don't know because obviously they don't know me and or whatever
Yeah.
else. We follow each other, but obviously, and so then he was like, "Well," and I was like, "I just have too many games, and I just rather experience them than." I said, I'd rather experience 100 new worlds than finish 10 games." And then his counter
Yeah.
was, "Hey, but you're not experiencing the whole game. Just keep that in mind." And he was being nice about it because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
people think. Well, you're just not experiencing the entire thing because you're not finishing the game. I just responded back and I said, "You know who you are as a gamer. I'm glad you enjoy finishing games. For me, after 40 plus years, I just look to jump in that world, whether it's for 10 hours or whether it winds up being 300 hours. I just want to jump in that world and experience it. Whatever I get out of it, I get out of it. That's all it is."
I mean, I can see both sides because, like, at the same time, if you finish games, sometimes like the ending of a game can just be so special that
Sure.
game's
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah, absolutely. And I
Red
think
Dead
for me,
Redemption 2 got progressively better until you, and then when you
and I
beat it,
still
it's like,
never finished Red Dead 2.
oh,
So
and
again,
that's
I
one.
never,
It's like, yeah, I would be one of the people to be like, you gotta finish Red
you
Dead, just
gotta
like
finish
because
it.
the
But again,
story,
right, but Red Dead 1 to me was so much better than Red Dead 2.
it's because
Just
you
as
haven't
far as
beat Red Dead 2 yet.
no, because that I will never an ending
yeah,
will never
I feel like Red
transform the
Dead One
entire game.
better.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, an
Yeah,
ending will never transform an entire game. Like I again, I've seen there's no way that would ever happen to me where like the ending just totally changed my entire opinion about a game. Like that's not gonna happen to me. So like just in general, I like Red Dead 2, obviously. Again, I bought it on
Yeah.
PC. I'm playing it because it's 60 frames now. But I just like Red Dead 1 so much, and I fell in love with Red Dead 1 right away. The entire story, I 100%
Yeah.
completed that game. And so for me, that was a big moment, right? Same with Cyberpunk, right? 300 hours, one playthrough. I finished that game, and the ending still sticks with me today, right? Jackie is a side character, is still one of the greatest side characters, probably my favorite side character of all freaking time in video games. And he's only in that game for about the first 5-6 hours
Yeah.
of Cyberpunk, and he's still one of the greatest characters of all time. So yes, I get what you're saying, Jasper. Absolutely, that I probably have missed out on endings that probably would have stuck with me. But honestly, to me, I have more value in just experiencing the world. My dopamine hit is jumping into that new world for the first time. It isn't usually about the story. The story can grab me and I can run through it, but usually it's just exploring the world and seeing what it's offering me. That's the dopamine hit. Like, like Starfield. Starfield's a perfect example. 300 hours in that game, and I still haven't done the second main mission after you get off the mining world. Right? I haven't touched the set. Everybody's waiting for me back at the. I haven't even talked to them about traveling anywhere. And I've been off for 300 hours being a space pirate. So for me, that's my value. Eventually, I want to go back to Starfield. Eventually, I do want to, go through the main missions and complete that game for sure. But even if I never touch Starfield again, those 300 hours were so freaking fantastic for what I was doing. That was all the value I needed out of that game. It's beautiful. It sticks with me all the time. I think about my space pirating all the damn time, bro. I love that game.
Yeah.
I love that fucking game.
It's funny the conversation about like beating games too, because like I'm having this like battle with my daughter right now.
Yeah.
Because she's been into Baldur's Gate 3, right?
Mhm.
And she's super into it. I mean, she's into the lore, the characters, the story, everything. And we've been like doing some of the battles together to where like she'll like not move on to the game because she's like has this immense battle ahead and she wants my help. So I'll like sit next to her, and like help her like strategize how to get through this and stuff. But she really has been learning about Mass Effect,
Mhm.
and all the characters and everything in the Mass Effect world and stuff. And she's just like can't wait to play it, and like she has it installed ready to go. And sometimes she's like not playing anything, and I'm like, hey, what are you like? What are you doing? Like, are you like not into that right now? Or like, she's like,
Mhm.
I was like, why don't you try a new game? She's like, no. And I'm like, why? You could check out like this, or you could check out there's all these different games, like amazing games. I was tell her all the time about all these games. Latest one I told her about is Outer Worlds, because I told her Outer
Mhm.
Worlds 2 is coming, right? And she's like, oh yeah, that looks great. I want to try it. Like, it looks fun. Like, she likes having the companions and the relations and all that stuff, right? So the interesting thing was like she won't touch any of them though because she hasn't beat Baldur's Gate 3 yet. So she has to finish it. Like mentally, she will not move on until she finishes Baldur's Gate.
Do you know what act she's in?
She's getting close to the end. She's way further than I am.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like she's in I mean, but she's doing she's doing all the character quests
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
like she just did Astarions. Before that she did Shadow Hearts. So she's spoiling the game for
Shadow
me
Hearts
because
quest is so good.
yeah, because I'm like helping her through this stuff and she's like further than I am now, right? And I'm like, but it's worth it to like sit there and help her with that stuff. And it's been a blast. But like, I can't wait for her to play Mass Effect. So I've been like trying to get her to play Mass Effect because I know she'll love it. But she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it till I finish Baldur's
Bro,
Gate.
you're creating a fantastic
Oh
gamer.
yeah,
If she holds true to this and she continues her love of that, RPG, classic RPG, that's gonna be a rare thing for her.
oh
Jen.
yeah,
So
yeah. She
awesome.
loves that stuff. She like wants to get Baldur's Gate like posters.
You finally got that?
Are you what was I gonna say? Are you never mind. I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Yes, I am.
Forget it. Yes, you are. Yeah, absolutely. Just forget it. Man.
Whatever the
I've
question
been off
was.
all
Yeah,
week.
yeah, sure.
I've been off all freaking week, bro. What can I say? Oh God.
Yeah, she got a Funko
suck.
Pop of Astarion just recently. Yeah.
Oh God. Fuck. Okay, well now she's got issues.
Well, now she's into vampires, so she was like, "Is there any
Worst
good
character of
vampire
fucking
games?"
all time. Oh God.
She wants to
Redfall.
watch. She wants to watch Interview with a Vampire because of Astarion from Baldur's
okay.
Gate.
Well, that is a fantastic.
Okay,
That is
so
a fantastic movie. But
now you just need to
Astarion-
introduce her to like Underworld, the Underworld
Right.
movies.
Oh, I forgot about Underworld. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
100%. Oh my god, I was trying to think of like vampire
Have
stuff. I
to.
forgot about Underworld, bro.
Yeah.
How did I forget about Underworld?
I don't know.
I was
Kate
thinking, like,
Beckinsale in it. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Your wife thinks Kate Beckinsale's hot like I think she's hot, so I don't know how the hell you forgot that shit. Because damn.
It just escaped my mind. I was trying to think of different vampire stuff and like that.
Yeah.
I was looking up like Vampire the Masquerade, the the game, and like I said there's a show called Vampire Diaries. I was just trying to think of everything. Fucking Underworld, man. God, how could I not have remembered that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I remember what I was going to ask you. Are you going to have you talked to her about Divinity of Original Sin?
I have, but I figured that
Okay.
one's going to be too daunting, and I think she wants to go
number 2.
Well,
number 2 plays almost exactly like Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, to start before she plays like something like Mass Effect, because I think she's like, I don't want her to do another one of those until she beats some of these other like 20 to 30 hour games.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So first she got into Ace Attorney because of 3-bit, and she played all of the Ace Attorney games, and she stopped. Like, I know, I'm talking about all of them.
You've got a You've got a rare daughter here. This is nice. I
Yeah.
like this.
And
No joke.
so she's stopped at a certain point, right? With that because of Baldur's Gate also. So she won't even continue Ace Attorney until she finishes Baldur's Gate. She has like two left out of like all the Ace Attorney games. Sure, it's surprisingly long. I didn't know how big those games were. But yeah. Crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, on the list is Mass Effect, Outer Worlds, um Skyrim possibly. I'm trying to get her in to try that. But yeah. I did, but the reason I was bringing this up anyway, Outer Worlds 2, I was thinking about Outer Worlds 2 because we're talking about Avowed. And when I was talking to her about Outer Worlds, I watched the Outer Worlds 2 trailer again. The last one we got with the gameplay and stuff, and I got a new sense of hype around it.
Nice.
Because I think that trailer, like, it showed up at the Game Awards, right? With the 2025 and stuff, and like I never went back and like watched it after that. Like, man, that's a really good trailer, and I'm starting to get curious about the scope of Outer Worlds 2. And I think it's going to be quite a bit bigger than Avowed or Outer Worlds 1, which are both pretty big games. And I think it has a chance to do something pretty special at the end of this year.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying, but like I think the zones are probably going to be still a little smaller than Avowed's, just because they're going to be creating multiple planets you go to, like in the first game.
Yeah, maybe. I remember the trailer. They're like almost certainly 2 times bigger than Outer
Yeah.
Worlds, the first one, or whatever. And I'm like, what does that mean? You know, and I'm watching because I showed her the Outer Worlds trailer first, then I showed her the Outer Worlds 2 trailer, and then it was like, wow, the quality jump between those two is actually like pretty fucking astounding. Like when I was watching this, and it's like I know Obsidian has multiple teams, and Avowed is astounding in many many ways, right? But I'm seeing this level in that trailer specifically. I see this level of like polish and like taking something beyond what it was before in Outer Worlds 2. That this could be like that time where a sequel elevates a franchise. You know what I mean? And it's for some reason like even though it was a surprise game, 2025 Xbox Game Pass day and date, we all knew it was coming at some point, but 2025 was a surprise. But like out of all the games we've all been talking about and stuff, like Outer Worlds 2 is like kind of the last one that anybody's been mentioning in like the Xbox community this year. And I think we should be potentially a bit more excited for Outer Worlds 2 for what it's going to be after I saw that trailer again. So my hype level just for watching that again like increased dramatically. But yeah, I wonder if that's also what Fable is potentially. Like one of the many reasons. We talked about this last night, Pong. But let's get into that specifically. Fuzzy. Now they said Fable needed more time.
Yeah.
Now there's been a lot of speculation that maybe they just had too much, right? And we're trying to move stuff around, or there's speculation that they wanted to put it on PS5 day and date as well, so they were giving them more time for that. Or there's just the reality of what they said that hey, there just needs more time. Which end of the spectrum do you fall on with Fable being moved to 2026?
Originally, I thought it was they have a decent amount lined up for this year, and there's an elephant towards the end of the year that's going to stomp out, a lot of games shine. Probably when that was going to release. I originally thought that was the case, but I'm hearing whispers from inside the house. They're doing a dual launch thing, or supposedly doing a dual launch thing, and that's the reasoning for delay. But there's some added caveats to that. They'll make it even more interesting, so it won't feel as much of a slap in the face. Although at this point, I don't think it really matters as long as you have Game Pass. It's going to be day and date. but I think there's a new piece of hardware that it will be able to launch on, as well as being launched on another platform. And you'll have the choice of, hey, the next gen version or the current gen version everywhere, kind of thing. And then we'll see how that goes. But originally my thoughts were GTA 6 was what caused it to bump out of the way, and they got plenty of stuff ready. Maybe some smaller stuff that'll be in the shadow of GTA, but stuff they'll feel right for Game Pass or for the platform in general. And then some other stuff that was hinted at way long ago, being that they're going, I wouldn't say all aboard as far as this multi-platform type of deal, but they're definitely leaning more and more with each progressive release. Like certain releases are definitely going to be test mules for future cases and whatnot, and I think Fable's on that list. But I'm fine with the delay. We got plenty to play this year. Next year will be a different story, and it's already setting up to be a stacked year for next year. And then if this hardware deal is truly coming in that time frame, it'll be interesting to see how different that game plays on that next piece of tech in comparison to the series consoles or other platforms in general.
Yeah, man. I'm wondering, like, is that going to be the new norm? Like, if Fable is day and date across, if that's going to be just like the new norm across the board, and like Gears E-Day, is it going to be, you know, day and date across the board as well? Or, I mean, at some point, I think that's what they would prefer. That's what Xbox would actually prefer on their biggest games. You know what I mean? But like, I know Xbox fans don't want to hear that necessarily. But yeah, it's maybe what's best for the games at the end of the day. I think there's a lot of pressure on Fable to succeed here. So you're gonna say something, Jasper?
See, I think that people may be looking for reasons when the simple answer is that the game just wasn't ready or they couldn't get it ready in time.
Yeah.
And so that's why they delayed it. Not because they couldn't, not because they wanted to get it on a PS5 launch or because there's so much shit at the end of the year. I think the simple answer is probably the most likely answer is they just needed more time.
Yeah. That's what they said. Like,
Yeah.
So, it's like, and now that could also be true, and it still end up launching day and date on PS5, right? Like, I would say that if it does end up launching day and date on PS5, it doesn't automatically mean that's why it was delayed. Maybe it needed more time, and with the extra time that they're allotted, they're also able to do that. Or they were going to potentially do it all along anyway. Because we hadn't actually had a release date announcement yet anyway, right? So who knows on that? What do you think, Pong?
Well, I mean, we talked about last night. I think it's just whether they get it ready for the PlayStation 5 because of this delay or not, to me is irrelevant. I think this delay was going to happen anyways. Again, I was on board with the delay.
Yeah.
Because like I said last night, I really truly believe that Microsoft understands that this isn't just your normal franchise coming back. This is Fable.
This is a tentpole, former tentpole.
This is the former tentpole, right? That has been gone, right? And of course, I mean, we've got whole entire generations that haven't played Fable, right? So, they just understand that the value of this IP coming back, the potential value of the IP coming back is so great. Best studios. Now I say best studios simply because they created one of the best car RPGs of all time, the best. They set the bar for arcade racers, and obviously this is a whole different genre, but I had the utmost faith. And again, they went out and got a ton of people to work on Fable to make sure that they were going to get this right. So if you're going to put all this effort, and you're going to give it to one of your best studios, and you give it to a studio that specifically publicly has said that they want to be considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest studio in the world, and you have the utmost faith in what they're doing, and they've obviously been seeing this game progress. So they obviously know what they got here from the bits and pieces that we are seeing. We could certainly see the quality here. I think that Microsoft is, Xbox, Phil and Booty and everybody are looking at this game going, we're going to get this right. We're going to give Playground as much time as they need. It doesn't matter what else is going on. If that means that they get the versions all done at the same time and ready to launch simultaneously, so be it. That's going to be in some ways a bonus because you'll ride the entire hype across all platforms that third-party publishers enjoy, like Monster Hunter Wilds as a perfect example. So I think that this is just lining up that way if that does happen. But I think they want to make sure when Fable returns, it is the closest thing to perfection that they can get from Playground within reason. Obviously, nowadays, when you're talking about RPGs, when you're talking about giant AAA games, but they want the closest thing possible to perfection to get the best reviews possible. Yes, reviews still matter, even though we can sit here and all say that they shouldn't matter for the publishers, for the devs. They still matter greatly. They want those great freaking reviews coming out. They want to crush Fable because then automatically you now have a studio that holds two of your biggest, most valuable IP in their hands at the same time, and you have two teams now proven to carry forward in two separate genres. And I think that that's like the best of all worlds, right? That's what you look for. That's what you want to have as a publisher. And I think they're just going to make sure that this thing bakes in the oven. Like I said, give them another year. I wouldn't launch it early next year. I would put it out till late next year. Give them the full year and let them do cook, and let them see what they come up with.
Yeah. I mean, the 2026 is going to be loaded. 2025 is loaded, but 2026 won't have GTA 6 at the end of the year, probably. Even if GTA is delayed,
most likely,
right?
It'd be spring. Most likely, it'd be spring. Yeah.
So, like, if you put Fable at the end of next year, you're also like, Xbox is really loaded with RPG releases this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much that matters or not, but you already have Avowed, you have Outer Worlds 2, right?
Well, next year's not gonna be any better.
That's true.
Right? Clockwork Revolution, Perfect Dark is going to be on the RPG side of things, and then Fable, obviously. So, yeah.
Also, probably Witcher 4 is probably next year, right?
No, that'll be
is it?
like 2030.
No, that's
Or no, I'm not Witcher 4. The vampire game that we saw like earlier this year.
The Dawn something.
Something Dawn.
Yeah. The Dawn, not Dawn Walker.
Dawn of the Bloodsuckers or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but it looked great. Yeah. God, what's that game called?
So there's probably a lot of big third-party RPGs and shit.
Yeah, that's from
there's
the
always
former CD Projekt Red devs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, Blood of the Dawnwalkers.
Is that what it is?
I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Blood of the Dawnwalkers. Yeah, that game looks great too. Yeah, that could be next year, Jasper, but we'll see. I don't know if they're taking that approach that CD Projekt Red did with
Cyberpunk, where you see it for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, it's just to like build up this immense hype around it year after year. It's possible too. But this year is still like around the corner. We have South of Midnight, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is another RPG, right? Then you have Doom: The Dark Ages, which I think is probably going to be the biggest Doom we've ever played. Remember when they talked about this Doom, also they're talking about bigger zones and bigger areas to explore and stuff as well. So I think that's going to be a pretty massive game. Then for fall, if we get the Oblivion remake, a remaster, which is heavily rumored, we have Ninja Gaiden 4. If GTA 6 drops, it's a massive ass game. Third party, but yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out in a couple months. It's gonna be massive. Then towards the end of this year, you have quite a few releases that haven't even been announced yet. One of the interesting things that Craig Duncan said in his interview when he announced the Fable delay was that how much stuff they have that people haven't seen yet.
Right.
Which to me means they have a pretty stacked summer showcase for us. And we may even get more 2026 announcements. It was like a month ago or so when we had heard the reports that we had like 3 games coming this year that we didn't know about yet. Then we got Ninja Gaiden, right? What else would they be? That still has not been revealed. Oblivion remake, we could think,
Yeah.
but
I mean, everyone's been speculating Double Fine's been ready to show shit, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think
I'm-
Double Fine's got to come at some point, whether this year or next year. They got to be somewhere, and they've got multiple projects, so that we could be in line for back to back with Double Fine as well.
No.
Because they're small experiences, and they did grow their team as well, so certainly possible.
Shinji
shapes.
reminds me of Tony Hawk. That's got to probably be one of them. We're about to get an announcement on that next week, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot, man. It's just a lot of stuff, and if you're not caring too much about console sales or tracking console hardware sales and stuff like that, you're on the Xbox ecosystem, you're pretty happy right now with what all the games you have to look forward to play this year and next. So it's going to be a fun time. But also, Luke made an interesting point in the chat earlier.
Shout out to
Regarding,
Luke.
yeah, Luke Lore, amazing podcaster out there. Xbox Expansion Pass. So it's not just the PS5 port, time needed for the Switch 2 at significant downscaling. So if something does take more time for, it would probably be more of a Switch thing if they want these games to be on the Switch 2. And that, I would imagine, might take some time for optimization.
Yeah, I would say yes and no, because like the Switch 2 is going to have a little bit more like technology in it to where it's kind of more automated with like the AI process with DLSS and shit. So like yes and no, that like you can probably get away with some of it on the Switch too.
Yeah. It's just, I think Fable is like a showpiece game, So I imagine it might be kind of hard. But I think there'll be a lot of surprising games on the Switch too. A lot of franchises that people like, oh wow, they got that on the Switch now, And that we're getting that show in April, I think, for the games for the Switch 2, and hopefully
April
a release date.
Something is when it's supposed to get revealed. They just showed off the new Pokemon game the other day too.
Oh, did they? Did it look the same?
No, it looks different because it's not like you're not just going on random roads to different towns. It's all within the city. So.
Well, I mean, like, is there textures in this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks like fucking Pokemon.
Just curious. Not expecting the world out of Pokemon, but like, you know what I mean. Interesting. All right, cool. I'm wondering. Are we now? I'm just curious for each one of you to take a vote. Do we see Fable first half of 2026, or do we see Fable second half of 2026? Let's start with Fuzz.
I'm thinking from what I'm hearing, it's going to be second half of 26. It originally would have made sense to have it the first half to kind of slot the same spot as Avowed, be that early kickoff for 26. But I think they're looking to time it for some piece of hardware or some piece of tech. So.
Okay. What about you, Jasper?
I think it's probably second half because if it was first half, I doubt they would have announced the delay yet because they would be like, maybe we can get it out. Maybe we can get it out. But since they've already announced the delay, it's probably second half.
Okay. And Pong, you already said second half, right?
Second half, yeah. It's a perfect holiday game,
Yeah.
bro. And again, if the hardware is coming, what we've talked about, what Fuzzy's just alluding to, if any piece of that hardware is coming, you got your game to market right around that new piece of hardware. So yeah, perfect. Great time, holiday season. You could do Perfect Dark sometime in the fall before Call of Duty. Then you got Call of Duty, and then you launch Fable, right? It's perfect. It's wonderful. Or if you want awards season, then obviously you just make sure that you get it out within there. You could put Fable out really whenever. Again, this whole Call of Duty thing, whatever. I'm so sick and tired of saying you got to work around Call of Duty. You don't. Unless you're putting out a first-person shooter or something military, you don't have to. Fuck that. Drop Fable. Everybody wants to
Oh
play
yeah, new
Fable.
Battlefield next year too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are
Probably.
we supposed to get this year?
Is it this year?
No,
Yes.
They said springtime next year when they
Oh, they say
What?
springtime? Oh, up to
Yeah.
springtime. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
right. So, but we're supposed to get at least the beta and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
testing ground, obviously going on this year.
That's yeah,
But they
and then the
said
release next
by
year.
next spring, by yeah. So yeah, it'll probably be spring next year, which is great.
But
Stay
we
away
might
from
get to
Call of Duty.
try it before then, for sure. You know.
Yeah, I should check and see if I ever got my confirmation yet.
So
I got
yeah.
an email that said like, "Congratulations, like you're accepted. Like you may get reached out to for further testing or whatever." But
Oh,
like,
you may. So it's
yeah,
basically confirming that they got your shit.
yeah.
Okay.
Right. We'll see if you win the lottery, Jasper. So we have I think Fable also probably second half. And my reasoning on that is based on the way that he said it.
Mm.
He would sometimes like they'll be like, yeah, they just need a little bit more time, like delayed a few months or it's something like that. But like, he just says, so we're putting it into 2026. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like not usually if you announce a delay and it's only going to be a shorter one, you put that out there to kind of like appease the fans that have been waiting for the game, so they like will know, okay, it's not going to be too much longer. You know what I mean? But they didn't use any of that language whatsoever. So I think it's going to be kind of more of like that Starfield situation where it's like, hey, it was the big holiday game for 2022, but now it's a big holiday game for 2023, and this will be big holiday game for 2026 as well as other games because I think they'll have more than one. Next year's Call of Duty will be one of the big ones too. What is the next year's Call of Duty rumored to be, Jasper? I know you keep up with that stuff.
So, are you talking about like the one at the end of this year or
Well, the one at the end of this year is rumored to be like a Call of Duty 2 remake,
Black Ops 2? Yeah.
Black Ops 2 remake, right? What about next year's was?
I don't. It's been a while since I've seen the leaks. It
Modern Warfare
should be.
again?
It should be Sledgehammer's game, I think. Or
What
no,
a-
it would be Infinity Warfare's because
It'd be
Sledgehammer
Infinity
did.
Ward, yeah. This year
Yeah,
should be Sledgehammer's, I think.
yeah, this
Well, I don't know.
Sledgehammer. Because it's Black Ops. It's like the Modern Warfare 3 remake, where it's like it was like a smaller add-on game, but they're just like kind of already doing it with Black Ops 2 this year again. So it's like Black Ops 2 remake.
Yeah.
Is gonna be added onto it. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at those leaks. And also the whole Call of Duty cycle has been kind of fucked up the last few years anyway, because they keep changing teams around.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We also have
Modern Warfare 4.
is what the rumor is,
Yeah.
which is strange because we never originally got it a Modern Warfare 4, but we got a Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was the
Sure.
original Modern Warfare game.
Right.
So, and Call of Duty 3 was the one that kind of didn't hit for people as much because it wasn't as fleshed out of a campaign, right?
Mm.
So, yeah, I think them doing Modern Warfare 3 the way they did was a little bit of a mistake, but I think also it was for specific reasons that they did that. So, you know, we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, next year's Call of Duty should be a big one. It should be the like every other year. I think is going to be a bigger Call of Duty. Treyarch's year, and then Infinity Ward's year. I think they're going to give them each like 4-year cycles, and then fill in Sledgehammers like every other with smaller content. That would make the most sense, but we'll see. Also, soon we're getting more. Now I know people may not want to talk about this, but I'm actually curious what you guys think about how this affects other people's perception of Xbox brand, because in April we have Forza Horizon 5. It's going to be hitting PlayStation, right? Then shortly after that, you're going to have Indiana Jones at some point hitting PlayStation. And you're also going to have, at some point in May, you're going to have Doom the Dark Ages hitting PlayStation, right? At some point, like, do you think the console war kind of mentality starts to melt away as all these guys start to embrace and celebrate the games that they're actually getting because they have no first party games of their own. I mean, it's just I've been looking at it like literally. I think a couple people were talking about it early on that like Xbox might actually legitimately publish more games on PlayStation than PlayStation does this year.
Yeah.
So, like, what effect does that have with a company that is actually putting out great content continuously for your platform, even more so than your own, right? Like, how does that affect the mentality of these gamers over time that used to shit on Xbox games and all these other kind of stuff that they all sucked, and now that's the stuff that they have to hope for.
Oof. That's a tough one. Like, it kind of depends on the perception of the gaming media. Like, there's going to be a fan base in the PlayStation camp that is never going to, you know, give up on the console warring. Oh, we sold more hardware. Oh, we got your games. I think the thing that will quiet them down is when their stuff goes to PC day and date. That'll probably quiet them down. If they start putting more games on Switch 2, which that's more than likely a thing that will happen, albeit that it'll be older games, but still, when they put a few more on there, that will probably quiet them down. But I don't think anything's going to really kill the console war narrative against Xbox until the gaming media as a whole grows up and stops asking the questions of, well, when is Avowed, or things like when is Avowed coming to PS, when is Starfield coming, and until they start asking the questions, hey, when is Spider-Man or
Right.
something other than MLB coming to Xbox. Yeah, there's always going to be that sentiment. So, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Xbox gamers as a whole, because of the way Game Pass is and the new hardware that's coming and a lot of convenient features. So if they do choose to upgrade to a PC or they decide to go with a handheld, that'll more than likely convince them not to even pay that console warring nonsense any mind. So we'll see.
See, I think the way that the console wars end is either one, like the worst case scenario is Xbox stops making hardware, like even after the Shin. But like, it's more so that I think the Xbox will probably go the route of how handhelds are now, where like every year or two you get like a refresh. Like eventually Xbox will get at that point where like you just get a new console every couple of years. And then by that point it's like, what are we fucking comparing? Because we have to keep fucking updating our charts and shit all the time. So it's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's just a device. It's an optional device
Yeah.
to play your games on, right? This is what
Yeah.
I mean. That's what they're saying, right? Is like, hey, play your games where you want, and for me, it's going to be Xbox ecosystem
Especially
stuff, right?
if they do the kind of the Steam route where Steam's kind of, I think Steam, where they're like licensing out the OS so other people can make hardware devices for Steam or whatever. Like if Xbox kind of goes that route too, then you'll just have different people make Xboxes, but not by Microsoft themselves,
Well, that's what we're supposed to be getting some more news on that this year because they already talked about that at CES, right? So I mean that's coming. Now part of that is they got to have games in the store
Yeah.
on the PC storefront unless they unify the stores somehow, which has been something that's going to be interesting. Like, how do they make a handheld a console if it's a PC, right? Or even if the next gen is a hybrid PC, open-ended ecosystem kind of device, right? How do they also make it a console storefront thing? Like, how do you unify that? And I think that's all the work that they're doing right now. So if they can make it truly to where you can access all your console library like natively, plus also the PC storefront natively, Steam, Epic, all that, then like that's the most we could all hope for because that's just like unlimited options for gamers and consumers all on one device, right? And that's what we have now on PC to an extent, except for the console aspect of it, which Xbox is very heavy with a library on the console side. like a lot of games skip the PC store. Like Monster Hunter Wilds is an option to buy on Xbox for PC, which sucks. Because if it was, that's where I would have bought it. I wouldn't have bought it on Steam. And because in my mind, I'm like, in the future, if this becomes Xbox Anywhere, I already own the game.
Yeah, you'll have your saves across platforms too.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I wanted, but it's not there. You know what I mean? So it's like at GDC coming up in March, that are going to be given some news on this, talking to devs, trying to make a push for that future. So I think a lot's on the line coming up with their initiative to make all this a reality. And this is going to be something we keep our eyes on to see how it plays out. I think unless they come up with something clever, a lot of it's going to be dependent on the support of the devs of Xbox Anywhere and the stream your own game feature also. So we'll see. Which I think that's in is it end of March 20 something, I think is what they said. 18th to the 20 something maybe.
Yeah.
So keep your
They're gonna
eyes
talk about
on that stuff, guys.
Yeah, they're going to be talking about the AI stuff that they have for moving forward. The Xbox OS stuff, and there's supposedly some other dev tools that will hopefully make things like that. I guess you could say the dual entitlement for like the Microsoft Store. A lot of the stuff that skips because the policies for it versus Steam Store hopefully go away. So we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know if Mac was joking, but he says that I'm a pony now. I think because I said Xbox is publishing more games than PlayStation this year. Oh, that's anti-PlayStation. Like they should be embarrassed. Like they should be embarrassed that Xbox is actually delivering more games that their players are interested in than themselves. Right? And I think it's going to create this crave of like whenever these PlayStation guys are watching and they're going to start tuning into the Xbox shows. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden these people are becoming Xbox fans without really realizing it. They think they're like anti-Xbox because they're like hurting the console sales by playing them on PlayStation. But they're really
but see,
actually like playing the games and
you say
embracing
that
it.
though, but like I feel like a lot of the casuals, they're like they'll just kind of skip past the Xbox logo and boot up, and they won't realize it's an Xbox game.
Right, but it doesn't matter to Xbox if they realize it's an
Yeah.
Xbox game or
No,
not.
I'm saying they're not. They're not. I know, but I'm just saying like the people aren't going to go like looking for the Xbox show
Yeah.
because they don't even know what the fuck Xbox makes at a certain point. They're just like, oh, it's just the new game everyone's talking about, Forza 5, it's cool or whatever, but they don't realize it's from Xbox.
Yeah.
Right. Now, how can they fix that?
I think, and I don't think they're going to do it. I wish they would, but put Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5, and don't put Forza Horizon 6 on PlayStation 5. Not day and date, not a year later, not 10 years later.
I don't think it's going to happen, Fuzz. I
I
see
know,
what you're
I
saying,
know.
but like, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
that would be the best way, because people would be like, well, oh, that's the new one? When can I get it on my place? No, you got to buy an Xbox or play it through the browser or through the streaming subscription, which that's, I think, something that at some point gets announced this year, where it's like the streaming only subscription, probably $10 a month or $12 or something along those lines. But I don't know. That's about the only thing I can think of that would convince people or convince them to let them know it's an Xbox only title when they have to get that Series S or Series X or whatever the Series Prime or whatever the Nexus or whatever they call it now.
So you're saying when they create this next device, it's like a hard cutoff point? It's like anything releasing on this new one for at least the time being until we've determined it's not a huge massive success of sales for consoles is going to be exclusive. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like it as far as moving hardware, that would be the way to do it, right? But I don't know how much they care anymore about how many like about winning that space. It's like for them, it's like they just want literally everything, gamers on every platform now and every device now. I don't think there's fear that most people have about them stop making consoles though, because
Yeah.
there's enough people that want Xbox hardware, to justify making it, and subscribers to Game Pass and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to keep an eye. Like, I think this GDC is actually like in a weird way. I'm not saying it's like a crossroads of like do or die or anything like that, but like I think it's an extremely important event for them to get their messaging across to the developers. How they were talking about it and advertising it was like, we are going to be behind the scenes showing devs how Xbox Anywhere will help them. Yeah, we'll even have some like testimonials from other devs that it's worked out for and stuff. And it's like they're pleading to devs and
Yeah,
trying to show them that like this is your advantage. You need to be here. But like, we'll see how many of them
I
buy into
mean,
it.
I could see their push being actually this year more so that like now Xbox is on all these places like your TV, your phone, all this bullshit. So like they're most likely probably going to market as like you have a potential of 1 billion users or whatever if you put your game in the Xbox ecosystem. I think that's where they try to sell it instead
Oh,
of
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that's going to be successful for them selling it to the devs though? Like,
Well, there's
If
a
you want to fucking make money, I don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm
Yeah,
saying this is
yeah,
important, because that's what their goal
yeah.
is. Like, and I mean, that should be obvious to me, right?
Mhm.
But like, developers still skip the Xbox PC store and Play
Yeah.
Anywhere right now. It's available to them, you know.
Here's a thing to keep an eye on. There's roughly estimate of like 8 million handheld PCs out there. I mean,
Mhm.
Steam Deck more than likely being half of those, and then the rest being a mix of Legion, MSI Claw, and ROG Ally. Probably the
Ally,
ROG
yeah,
Ally is the second biggest one in that
yeah.
grouping. Um, 8 million of those that, if the user chooses to overwrite the original software with Xbox OS, that's an Xbox handheld, which there's more devs paying attention to that, and that's kind of lower numbers, even though it's still basically a PC spec. But there's a lot of them that are targeting, specifically Steam Deck compatible, builds and things like that. Um, if Xbox can sell close to that number, or at least 4 million plus, which I think they could probably do that in a weekend, of the handhelds, as long as it's not like $700 or $900. Like if it's 500, 600 range, I think they can do that rather handedly, really fast. But that will be their edge. Now, it's not going to be anything to really, knock the Switch 2 numbers, because those are going to still be ridiculous as well. But I think a lot of these platforms, or a lot of these developers that already put stuff on Steam, might give the Microsoft Store a second look. Plus, if they change a couple of policies on their certification, at least on the PC side of things, that might help matters as well. I think that's the thing that always seemed weird to me. It's like everything that's on Steam, honestly, should be on Microsoft Store, but it's Microsoft 9 times out of 10 that's the roadblock, as opposed to the dev not necessarily wanting to put it there. It's some of their certification stuff, some of their requirements and things like that.
Yeah.
Pong, how do they sell this to the developers? Like, I'm curious also, like, how much percentage of sales these publishers can they determine are double dibs, right? Because for me, that's what like Xbox is battling against, for the greed aspect from the publishers. Like,
Of course.
it's the only thing that is really okay. So the publisher be like, no, we don't want our game to be playable anywhere because we want people to have to buy our game twice. So
Right.
I'm curious how many people actually double dip and how many sales they accumulate from that versus how many more users they would attract with Xbox Anywhere. And that's going to be the argument that Xbox has to make to them, right? So
That's where the business marketing degrees come into play, right? This is why they get paid the big bucks to get in these rooms and do this shit. I think that I think really what it's going to come down to is how successful they are. How the devs, okay, how do I want to say this? It will come down to how successful they are with the wider audience to have a bunch of people in the Xbox ecosystem on all these different screens that they're talking about. They have to have proof of concept that this idea that the ecosystem is available everywhere versus one box or, a box and a handheld or whatever is actually performing, and that there are people using all the different aspects. Now they're not going to be all the same people, but if they can show the devs that they've got different groups of people on all these different screens, and that this is opening up opportunities where more people are playing different games from various devices, no matter where they are, but they're all accessing the Xbox ecosystem, which then means your audience is that much bigger, right? That's why we hear monthly active users all the damn time now. If they could prove that will start to entice these devs to give a benefit like Play Anywhere, right? To start offering it there under the realization that game is not just going to be available to the console player or the console and the handheld player, but it's going to be available to, your daughter on her tablet map when she pops into the Xbox store, right? Or, the people in the East on their, laptops and their handhelds, we're going to be available there. Our store is going to be there and your game's going to be there. And again, if you offer the Play Anywhere, well, if they do happen to have two devices, well, that's going to entice them to buy your game at the store and be able to play it on both places. I also think that there is something they haven't triggered yet, something that we heard about
late
from
last
Satya.
year.
No, going way back, Mav. 2 years now, 3 years now from Satya originally. And he had talked about, Mav, lowering the fees.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That thing.
Remember
Okay.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the devs. And I think that hasn't been triggered yet because they haven't opened up their mobile store. They haven't gotten into the mobile space, which they're going to do. So there's some pieces that have to happen here. But I think if there's proof of concept, and again, that's why we see them rolling this out in waves. That's why they're going to GDC and really starting to push this. They're not going to gather up everybody at one time. They're not going to win everybody over at one time. The idea is to slowly but surely bring more people in and have them use it, have them apply it while they're making their games and understand it more. And then the word spreads, right? But if they can get their mobile store up and running and they get all these places up to the point, and again, we're talking about this new technology coming very shortly, whatever it's going to be, and supposedly, again, we get all these things seamless, then I think you unleash, if you got proof of concept, Satya can see the numbers, he can see the potential, he can see the players growing, he can see the monthly active users growing, he can see that it's not concentrated to one device, right? It's not just the PC, it's not just the console, but he's seeing growth everywhere. Then you unleash the fees, right? Because that's going to be the advantage that you can do as Microsoft to counteract, Steam being dominant in the PC space, right? Google and Apple being dominant in the mobile space. You unleash the fees, you unlock these fees, you lower the fees down to the lowest levels, lower than everybody else. The devs are going to be even more open now to come over because they're going to get more profit. So if you can back all of your talk up with some stats, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you can back it up, show the charts of growth, and then you give them a direct financial benefit to buy into your system, you start gathering more pieces. And I think that's how they're going to do it here. It's going to be by showing and telling, and then it's going to be also enticing them, right? Bribing them per se to come in and do it as well. And I think that there's going to be a couple front war here to do this, but I think that's something that has been put on the back burner that a lot of people forgot about, that Satya ever mentioned that they talked about doing. And I think that we will see that once they get this ecosystem all together. I mean, this is also about the UI, that they're working on, obviously, that Jason Ronald's been talking about, getting it so it's all one seamless, exact same experience, no matter what screen you're looking at. And I think once that happens, they go full bore, they go full bore into this. And I think that's what you'll see.
And I think
That's
that's
my
the
idea.
key, is something that we can't see yet,
Right.
right? And that we
Correct.
don't understand how it's going to work yet because it's not there. I think that it's been slower moving than I anticipated for like the stream your own game features and stuff like that to
Yes.
be
Yes.
implemented more. I went back and looked, and it was November 20th when they launched the first 50 games into that service, and they haven't really promoted it very much since then. They've only had one other dumping of games, so it was like 5 or 6, I think, that they put in there since then. One of those being Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is an awesome get for it, right? But you see like new games get released all the time. You see um the conversations that they had before about eventually wanting almost every game you own to be playable that way, and it's like, well, we're over 3 months after that service launched, and they've only added like a handful of games to it, right? So I'm curious what
I
the
think
rollout's going to continue to be for that too, because that's a part of what they're trying to do here with
I
all of
think
this.
some of that is also just got delayed because of them fighting that whole mobile deal with like Apple and all that shit, like trying to get the
Yeah, there's a
Xbox
lot of
store over
pieces that
there.
still have to fall into place.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a lot. Yes.
which
Wait,
is
did you
weird.
count the update from like a day or two ago?
Did they have more stream your own games a day or two ago? I
Yeah,
missed that one.
Yeah, they added Manhunter. I saw that pop up on my list on there the other day.
So
and
I know they
one of
like
Or
the
Maneater.
there was like a
updates,
month ago they added like 5 or something like that. What did they
yeah,
add yesterday?
I think it was Assassin's Creed. Like I know there was a list because I just saw this. It looks like they every so often they add like 3 to 5 games. It's like they'll add one or two new, like recently released, and then ones that were fairly new. What did I see that?
Going to I'm
The
going to the
stream your own games.
site right now so I can see, because I'm actually really curious. Man, it'd be nice
Uh,
if Monster Hunter was on there.
Yeah, I just saw Maneater pop up like last week on there. So
That
let me
may be
see.
the shark the
I think
shark
that was the
game.
one I was talking about, like that was
Uh,
not too long ago. Yeah. Okay, I see the Assassin's Creed Mirage. I thought that was
I think that was just like a day or two ago because I had to skip the update. I had a pop up like I'm or maybe I'm not in the insider ring, but I'm part of that Xbox OS stuff, and I know they added. I can't remember where the heck I
Harry
saw that
Potter
because it was like
Quidditch is there.
yeah,
I don't
so this
remember if
is
that
from
one was
pure
there.
Xbox. This is from 4 days ago. It says the
Okay.
newest entries to the list are Blasphemous 2, Gris, Maneater, Space Engineers, Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun.
okay,
That was the February 2025 update of games.
Okay.
So,
that sounds about right. I thought Assassin's Creed was one of them as well.
I know they've already
The
had some
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed in there. And they had Space Marine 2 in there to begin with. They had NBA 2K, they had Witcher, that Cyberpunk. Right, they had a great selection of games though. Like, I'm surprised that, you know, if this is going to be I guess I'll say my most surprising thing is this is going to be a big part of what they're trying to do going forward, right? And this is going to be a big part of like how this is all going to work, and how they're trying to promote that you can play your own games if you own them anywhere you are. When you have big releases that aren't using that, it kind of tells you that, why not? Why is a giant one of the bigger games launching and not going into that? And that would lead me to think it's something from the publisher side that doesn't want to be included in that, because I'm sure Xbox would love it to be, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think this is part of like what the work that they got to do at GDC, you know, like getting these devs on board for this stuff. And I mean, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did it on launch, which I thought was big, right?
Mhm.
Capcom's got a problem with cross progression. So
Yeah.
I think it's actually a system
Technical thing.
technical thing with cross progression because Dragon's Dogma 2 wasn't cross progression, right? They don't do cross progression, so I think it is a technical level for them. So I think that's probably
I
one of the
mean,
major blockage.
yeah, I was
with
gonna
that.
say with Capcom,
Yeah.
I think the only time they really do it is if Xbox kind of offers them a deal because they did that with the mech dinosaur game. I forgot what that was called.
Exo Primal.
Exo
Exo
Primal.
Primal.
So
Yeah.
when Xbox jumped in because Xbox helped them with Exo
Yeah.
Primal, that's why we got the Game Pass deal, right? Because they helped them out.
Yeah.
So it might be that the only time, but yeah, they just don't. I just don't think they're fully on board. The bigger publishers will fall in line. Some will, not everybody will. Again, the 2Ks are going to Strauss will be stubborn forever. I mean, it's never.
Well,
gonna
the
happen.
surprising
No,
thing with the initial 50 is 2K was one of the most supportive ones for that.
2K
for that
for their,
stuff.
yeah, but which games, right?
Yeah, it was mainly the sports titles.
Right, because you can buy packs.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
I
what I'm,
got you, yeah.
that I'm just saying when it comes to like your regular games, right? That they're not going to do that stuff, but it is just going to take convince. It's going to take proof of concept. It's going to have to be an advantage that Microsoft gives the developers that they can prove. Because again, you got a Capcom who doesn't miss. They're going to look at you no matter how you try to present it to them and be like, why? I mean, we're we got 1.3 million concurrent players day one on Monster Hunter. Why do we need this, right? Why what is it going to do for us? Like I said, that's when you eventually come in with a bribe and say, well, we're going to cut you in on fees. Like you're going to get the most amount of fees out of any storefront, bar none. And any publisher looks at that obviously as money. So I mean, it's like, yeah.
And I wonder if maybe that's why Capcom's kind of even less interested in Xboxes because they tried it with Exo Primal and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Exo Primal made sense just because it was the type of game it was.
Yeah.
But that was a Game Pass deal too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm just saying that, like, I mean, Capcom considers that a failure because they shut it down like a year after launch or whatever, right? So
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think that's just like in general, like it didn't do well on Steam or anywhere else. Also, you know what I mean. So it's
Yeah.
like, I think just in general from their perspective, just they weren't able to keep the concurrent player count up, and I don't know if they would necessarily blame anything on the Xbox side of that for it.
I'm just saying that they tried Game Pass because maybe they were
Yeah,
sold
yeah.
before. It's like, oh, this could boost your numbers, and then they
Yeah.
put it in there, and they're like, oh, it didn't do anything for us.
Right. I bet it did on Xbox though for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Outriders like had a lot of players. Remember when that launched from Square and it was like crashing their servers and stuff? It was like, oh, we're not prepared. You know, we gotta delete our server caches and oops, we deleted everybody's shit.
Character's running around in his underwear. Where's my gear?
Yeah, it was a COG that lost all of his stuff. And Outriders.
Yeah, and PTK,
PTK
and COG lost all their gear, and it's like they just gotten like their first pieces of like legendary stuff. It's like, it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh well.
In a way too, it's like almost like stream your own game feature is kind of in a way competing with Xbox Anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like stream your own game is like it's like half of Xbox Anywhere. It's like we'll do this, but we're not going to give you the PC version. You know what I mean? So it's like a half step.
Yeah.
They just still have a lot of work to do, man. They gotta fix the store. They've got so much on their plate to do, man. And this is always, a lot of people, for the people who like to look at Microsoft and look at the negatives. This is where you see the past history of Microsoft when they try to do a lot of things and it winds up not happening, or they do it halfway and then they bomb out. I mean, again, it's just that they've had all these years to fix the store. They now own a better store, right? In Blizzard.net. They've had all the examples of how to make a store in Steam sitting out here now forever. And they
PC stores are the hardest thing to get into though, because like even Epic dumped loads of money. Yeah.
No. What I'm talking about is just how it works, how it operates, like the usage. That the big thing that most people complain about. I'm not saying they could beat Steam. I'm not stupid, right? What I'm saying is that just the basics. They haven't fixed some of the basic problems. Look at Game Bar For God's sakes, like that thing has been broken
Yeah.
for how long? Like I was hearing about Game Bar forever. Like I didn't even know what it was because I didn't have a PC for forever. Now I started using it on a PC and I'm like, holy shit, man. Like they just have a lot of little things and bigger things that all kind of add up to one. If they're gonna do this, right? And I believe they're doing this, like they're going for it.
Yeah, I think that's
You
all
gotta-
hands on
you gotta
deck right
get
now
these-
behind the scenes
Right,
to
you
do all this
gotta
stuff.
line all
Yeah.
this stuff up and fix all these little things too, so that seamless experience. So that because again, when you're trying to get this many people in, and I'm talking about just straight up gamers and getting them all to buy into this. You could play your games anywhere you want to. That's fine. We're here for you. Access your games here. That experience across all those devices has to be the same. Like we can't have any differences. You can't have people experience issues on mobile phone trying to do the same thing that somebody's doing on their console when you've promised them that the experience is supposed to be one experience. And I think that that's a big promise to keep when you have all of these little different aspects out here that haven't been fixed for years and years and years that they've got to get on. And you're right, Matt. I'm sure it is all hands on deck right now. It just seems like, man, they got a lot to flesh out and finish here, man, especially with this UI and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I want to see it happen. Obviously, I would love to see it happen because, like I said, the benefit to us gamers for
That's
our
the key.
libraries
Yeah.
be accessible everywhere. Anything I own, I can play it wherever. My God, nobody else is going to be able to offer you that. Nobody. That's going
Yeah.
to be like a very, very big, unique thing for Xbox to say. Like, we can offer you your games anywhere you want, and the experience will be the same, and you don't have to fiddle around with anything. It's just going to be there for you, the same as it is when you fire up your Xbox at home. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So I hope it works.
It's just crazy to me, like that has how much of a foothold like Steam has on PC. That like a massive game like Monster Hunter Wilds, right, comes
Mhm.
out, and
Mhm.
they're like, well, yeah, there's all these other storefronts. We don't give a shit. We're just gonna put it on Steam, and that's just it. You know?
Oh, you know what they should do is they should fucking put it on airplanes. Like how you can like stream Netflix
Yeah.
on airplane TVs. Like if you get Xbox on the fucking TV on an airplane and just play games, it's like thousands of people play every day. They just be fucking playing games for like 3 hours.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they're going to make that happen. I mean, I get what their ideas.
Yeah, but then the
and
airlines are like, you got to pay like $20 per
Of
minute.
Of course. But that's going to get cheaper and cheaper as tech goes up, though. I mean, again, that's all gotten cheaper. It used to be so damn expensive, and you could make a phone call. Remember when you could first make a phone call from an airplane? It was like Jesus. That's
yeah.
normal now. But yeah, I don't know. Steam is ridiculous. But again, it's all there. And the other storefronts that have tried, like Epic and stuff, they still don't even do it to Steam's quality. Like Steam's refund policy is the greatest refund policy in the history of the fucking world. And nobody else can seem to get that fact. Like that's how easy the refund process should be. Like you played it for less than this hours. Oh, you don't like the game? Okay, let us know. Oh, the money's already back in your account. There you go. Have a great day.
Yep.
Thanks for.
Oh, and it
thanks for
turns out
shopping.
you actually played it for more than this. Hey,
Yeah.
whatever, fuck it.
Oh,
We'll still
hey,
give
you
you
know
a refund.
what? Yeah. Oh, you still didn't like it? Yeah, let's go ahead and just give that back to you again because we know you're going to come back and buy from us with that money, right? That's
Exactly.
it's just such a customer service thing. And again, it sounds stupid, but that's what sells people on a storefront. And these other places
Yeah.
just still can't copy that, man. It's like, why?
And it's
Just
like
do that.
that's what like the crazy thing is, like, okay, so for us as gamers, we're like just want to buy the games where we want to, but the platform holders are trying to sell the publishers on their storefronts, right? So it's like if they don't release the games in the storefront, nothing matters, you know. And that's like the battle behind the scenes right now. Like, yeah, like most things come to Xbox on console, PlayStation on console, and Steam, right? And that's just kind of like the de facto three things that most publishers will target to release on, but they ignore the PC side of Xbox for the most part. They ignore Epic Game Store unless there's like smaller releases that are trying to just reach every single person that they can or something. Like for, like I said again, for a game like Monster Hunter Wilds that has widely popular as it is, just to say we don't need to launch on other PC stores is like, no, we're good, just Steam. That's fine. Everybody will just go to Steam and buy it. It's like why mess up with all this other technical stuff? We don't need Epic or any of these other things. To like it's just how
Like
big of a
I've been
win,
waiting
a
for
de
Alan Wake
facto
2 to
win is
come to
that for
Steam
Valve?
forever.
Yeah, like
And
how big of a de facto win is that for Valve just to have Monster Hunter Wilds just exclusive to their storefront on PC? I don't know if it's anywhere else. I don't think it's on Epic. I was looking on Epic and I didn't see it there. It's not on Xbox PC, right? It's just like, hey, and maybe it's on GOG. I'm not sure, right? But it's just like, hey, most popular game that just launched. You want to play it on PC? You go to Steam.
Yeah, and GOG is the closest as far as favorability
Yeah.
goes to Steam, right?
Yeah,
GOG
maybe it's on
is
GOG. I don't know.
yeah, but GOG found their niche, right? And that's CD Projekt Red, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people forget
Yeah.
that it's CD Projekt Red that did it. But GOG also has freaking fantastic, obviously, customer service. They do things right over on GOG, but they've now found their niche with older games, right? That no other stores really carry anymore. And now they're
Yeah.
starting this whole preservation thing, which they've been doing, but now they're making it a big deal. And that's their niche. You can go on there and find games from holy shit back
And
in the
also
day.
GOG marketed themselves as a big thing that PC gamers hated was DRM free.
DRM free, correct. I was just going to say that. Thank you, Jasper, for reminding me. Yep, absolutely. The DRM free was a big deal, right? So they found a way, and again, they're not even close to what Steam is, but they have a favorability rating close to what Steam is. If there is another store people are going to go to, it's going to be GOG outside of Steam for those hardcore PC players.
Yeah, I just looked. Monster Hunter Wilds isn't on there either.
But Dino Crisis 1 and 2 is now, folks. So go pick them up.
Yeah.
Go pick them up.
Yeah, I mean that's mostly what I use GOG for is just the classic games that you can't get
Classic.
anywhere else.
Yeah. Which is cool.
I got the old Ultimas on there and that kind of stuff too. They don't have everything, but they have so much that you can go get. Steam has some of it.
Yeah.
But my God, when you go on GOG and you see the classic nostalgia stuff, it's wild, man. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, Fuzz.
I was going to say the one thing that Epic does better than the Microsoft Store right now is that at least it takes you to the link to buy the game. So if you search the game, even though you can't buy it through them, at least it takes you to it, which from a SEO standpoint is useful, and you might actually come back to Epic for other stuff. The Microsoft Store, it shows like Monster Hunter Rise was the only thing that came up. So at least in a search, you can find the game you were looking for, and then they'll take you to where you can get it. So
yeah, I just open Epic Games up like maybe once a month and just to see if there's what the free shit is.
yeah.
Oh, I grab all the free. I don't care about stores. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've got so much free shit everywhere now, bro. It's crazy. It's so cool though. I'm pissed that I didn't start way back in the day when I didn't have the PC, and I was like, I should probably start grabbing these because eventually I'll probably get a PC. Now I kick myself in the ass all the time, but yeah, man, that value is nuts. Again, there's PC guys just won't touch it, even if it's fucking free because it's not Steam.
Like if you look at
I'm out here
Prime deals too, like the free shit they give you with the Prime
get them
stuff.
All. So much.
There'll be random store codes on there,
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it's pretty damn cool. I don't care. I honestly, what storefront on the PC, I don't care because when you launch the game, you're just like playing the game. You know what I mean? You're using the same controller. It doesn't matter. The game for the most part looks the same. I think most storefronts and stuff. So, but it's gonna be interesting. It's just gonna be different for consoles. So to have access to different stuff and that they're trying to cross this bridge that is so heavily dominated by Steam right now, and to attract more people to support it to where they can have their games everywhere. So it's just the whole point of the whole conversation was just like keep your eyes on it. Yeah, it just seemed like a small little announcement thing about the GDC and talking to the devs and all that kind of stuff. But I think this behind the scenes at Xbox and behind the scenes of what their initiatives are going forward and the stuff that we haven't seen yet, I think these devs are going to get a glimpse of. And hopefully sway them to supporting those features more. But look forward to some news there regarding some of this stuff, and I'm I'm curious like how much weight they have on these kind of moments to try and influence the direction of these other publishers to help them with their own goals, because Xbox is maybe dependent on that, right? Let's say they do launch a hybrid console in the future, it maybe it is dependent on this kind of Xbox Anywhere thing to where PC/console games are supported. Because I don't know how it's going to work other than that. Like, and let's say they have a surprise, like, and that maybe they have a trick up their sleeve, you know. So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting to keep an eye on. That's the most exciting thing, though, is like the evolution and the changes with the way we access the games is creating like interesting possibilities and new ideas and stuff that maybe we haven't thought of that were going to be revealed to us at some point. And it's like, what is that future going to look like? And that's exciting for me, man, because I think Xbox is kind of, they're trying to carve out a path in gaming that, you know, we've never seen before. It's like a new way of distribution and market for gaming, right? As opposed to you have your classic PC storefront, classic console storefront, right? So this is like a spectrum, like a wide spectrum storefront. That is their idea here. And it's got to work on consoles, got to work on PC, it's got to work on handhelds, third party devices, their own devices. So crazy times ahead, guys. And they'll be competing against the Steam Deck. They'll be competing against the Switch 2. They'll be competing against Steam storefronts. They'll be competing against PlayStation storefronts. But they'll also be supporting all of those. What a crazy time. What a crazy time, guys. This is going to be nuts. Anyway. All right. Well, speaking of that, I'm going to go, I think, play the potential game of the year for this year. Monster Hunter Wilds on Steam because it wasn't on Xbox Anywhere, stream your own game. So I decided to get it on Steam just to take advantage of the bells and whistles that game has. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight on Xbox Ultimate Podcast. The future is exciting for sure. Fuzzy Belvedere, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
As always, greatly appreciate being here with you guys. Always enjoy having a conversation on anything gaming related and just talking about like the potential future and how stacked 25 and 26 are going to be. Man, it's not enough time to play all these games, but still enjoy talking about it nonetheless. But for hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, you can find me on pretty much all social media except for Facebook under Fuzzy_Belvedere, or just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. And then this weekend, we got Shop Podcast at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Me, PTK Blam, and Pong. I don't know if we have a guest, but definitely check us out. 5 p.m. on Sunday. New time, new day, and everything. And then later on that evening, Pixelated Echoes, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and 3-Bit. And then Monday, we'll be doing Xbox Lunch Break Special, 12 noon on Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick. And then later on that evening, FSP right here on this channel. We'll see all you guys in the chat. Thanks again.
Thanks, Fuzz. Appreciate you, bro. And the one and only Jasper.
Yeah, so Lord Jasper, Twitter, all that fun stuff. And I think next week is my last Ultimate for 3 weeks because I go on weekend shifts. So, yeah. But
Yay.
other than that, I'll be on Mondays. Yeah.
Right on, man. Cool.
I didn't know the aliens worked on weekends.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Take me to your leader. It's the weekend. That was stupid. Sorry. Pong, what about you, sir?
You can do dad stupid shit. Everybody, thank you for a great show. Jasper, great to hear you, brother. Great to talk to you. Of course, being here, and of course, Fuzzy and Mav, as always, brothers. Love getting together with you on Fridays. Again, slower news week, but a whole bunch of random stuff, but a lot of cool gaming shit coming out, man. There's so much to play again. Wilds is gonna be nuts. Plus, I still got Avowed. My God, I still went back and watched that Terminator 2 2D new freaking
It looked
game.
cool, man.
T2, like it's crazy. I'm like, holy shit, it's totally old school, but it looks great. Everybody go check out that trailer for T2. I forget the full title, but man, you can find it easy. What a time to be alive, man. But great time being here. Chat, thank you all for again supporting not only this show, but all the shows you guys support. Again, you guys make this stuff go. And we are the media. I don't know if you saw that Jason Schreier talked about the media, and he says
there's only a couple full time.
It's down to a half. It's down to a couple dozen full timers.
For
That's
games
still
media. Well, like who would that be?
Yep.
Like
a couple of the IGN people, obviously, probably more than likely a lot of the IGN
Yeah.
people, and that's about it. I mean, I don't know who else. He didn't name names.
like
He didn't go through the list.
Baltassi, maybe. I mean, like
But
Jizz is full time. Like I don't.
But I don't know if that's considered mainstream, right? I think.
Yeah, I think he's considering like major like outlets,
like GameSpot and all those kind of places, right?
Oh, yeah.
But only 2 dozen, man. Again, burn baby burn. So we are now the media. So that's the way it works. But thank you all for being here and enjoying the shows like we do and showing the passion like we do. Again, that's why you guys are here. We are the 1%ers gamers who take it to this level. So thank you all for being here. Nothing but love and respect. You guys know how to find me, Pongsol everywhere. You know the drill. Follow me and I'll follow you back. And tomorrow morning, no living split screen. If you guys didn't see the post, we are not going to have a show tomorrow. So real life takes precedent as always. And Steel's got to take care of some business and stuff. So we will not be going tomorrow. We were going to do a Monster Hunter Wild stream, but that's not going to happen. But that's cool, man. Take the time, Steel. Love you, brother. And we'll be back. And then obviously, like Fuzzy said, the Shop Podcast, new day and time, but it is Sunday. Everybody's getting used to it. So this will be the 3rd week back, which is awesome. So Sundays, that's right. Sundays, PTK Blam's channel, the Shop Podcast, PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, and myself. And normally we do have a guest or two, and that starts at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Central Time. So be there for that. We're going to have a great time talking to everybody on Sunday night. And then next week it starts all over again. Double Barrel Games channel, Boomsticks, man. I will always shout him out because he's done so much for this community and so many of us. So Tuesdays, though, Xbox Factor Podcast. Everything, all good things green, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. And then my week will start right here on PM and the PM, Pong and Mav and the PM. And it should be back to normal schedule this week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. As always, it is the golden age of gaming, people. So whatever you're playing, whether it's Monster Hunter Wilds, whether it's Avowed, whether it's the billion other games out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Have a good one, everybody. Take it easy, and we'll see you next week here on Fun Speculation. Oh, also, I say this every week, and I don't end up doing it, but this week for sure, there will be streams this weekend. So stay tuned and keep an eye out for some streams, maybe some Avowed, and this other game I gotta play also. So have a good one. Take it easy. Peace out.
Bye.